Oh, oh no, God. Oh, I'm your cult boyfriend, and I'll admit it. uh, I just got done crying, which definitely means I just finished the ninth and final season of One Tree Hill. Yeah, it got me, guys. It got me dead to rights, man. Well, I was an easy target. I cried. Once I started crying in the series finale, I didn't stop. Okay, it got me really hard with the theme song sing along, when Gavin DeGraw is playing a trick and for the third chorus or whatever, he stops singing and you see each member of the ensemble singing and you hear the crowd singing, and that's clearly a way for the show itself to invite the audience, the viewers, the fans to sing along. Clearly, and it's beautifully done. And I'm like, "Ugh," I rolled my eyes, then I started doing it, and then I started crying. And in my back of my mind, I'm like, you son of a bitch, you got me so good. And then I didn't stop. Then I didn't stop. Oh, it got me so good. And I made it, ended up making another wish, and I ended up placing it in my heart, and I believe in it. Don't wait. Don't wait to do those important things that could define your life. Season 9 is a big step up in terms of quality from seasons 8 and 7. I didn't like either of those seasons. That said, I wish that season 9 was just the final 3 episodes, because the final 3 are something else. The final 3 episodes really save this season and possibly the integrity of the series. The showrunner salvaged something beautiful, but the majority of this season is uh, a fucking dumpster fire. I don't really have any other way to put it. It's insane. It's trash TV, but it's kind of fun. So here's where I think, if you've been following my analysis of One Tree Hill, you'll know that I call the first 4 seasons of One Tree Hill masterpieces, possibly the greatest coming of age art that we have ever gotten. I think that the first 4 seasons of One Tree Hill are life-changing and life-saving, things. I think your life could be saved and your life could be changed if you watch the first 4 seasons of One Tree Hill openly and honestly and emotionally. I think those first 4 seasons are magical, to use the show's language. The first 4 seasons are truly magical. Seasons 5 and 6 are pretty good. They're pretty good, and I believe that the showrunner was starting another kind of literary approach, because seasons 1 through 4 work so well because it has a beginning, middle, and an end, and it feels like you've just read a mammoth coming of age novel. It's really incredible in that kind of illuminating context. And I think that the showrunner was trying to do that for seasons 5, 6, 7, and 8 or something. But what happened right in the middle of that, at the end of season 6, in the middle of his next grand narrative, he lost his 2 main stars. Hillary left, in my I mean, I'm speculating mostly, but she has said as much that she was trying to find herself. It was a professional as well as a personal decision. I just think that the toxic environment and that the way she was treated by the showrunner definitely helped her make her decision to leave, you know. And I also think that maybe somewhat semi-secretly, that character was the showrunner's favorite character because he would insert himself into later seasons as Max, the record store owner, like confidant for Peyton, and give her all of this advice and character motivation, like within the narrative. So it's a meta narrative, and I fucking love it, and it's great. And clearly, I think he offered her a raise, and she still refused to rejoin the show. And Chad Michael Murray left with her. And Chad, I'm not sure exactly why he left. I think it was over contractual disagreements. But either way, he lost his 2 anchors, the 2 heroes of his saga. They left, and he was forced to redesign and reshape things. Only I believe that he just didn't want to do that. That I think that he felt that there there was no saving this, or without Peyton or without Lucas, there's no such thing as true redemption or true sincerity within One Tree Hill as a postmodern TV show that can save your life. I think he gave up on that and confessed as much through the Dan Scott 12 episode arc of season 7. Um, and then he just stops caring. I don't think he even wants to redesign or reshape. But in the final 3 episodes of season 9, he wants to salvage. He says, I'm being given this platform and I created this thing. And even though I believe he gave up on it for at least 2.5 seasons, right? From season 7 to the end of season 9, I think we can say a lot of things about him, you know, about his conduct uh, as a mentor, as a creator. But I think he thought that the fans deserved something decent. But more than that, I think that he believes in the ability that film and sports and coming of age melodrama, I believe he believes in the magic of them and the capacity that those things can have to save your life. In those final 3 episodes, he makes one final wish and he gives one final lesson and he makes you cry one last time and he makes you believe again. He makes One Tree Hill graceful one more time, and he does it so well that it feels effortless, and that's what's also incredible. The guy was certainly a genius. Uh, in the final 3 episodes, he comes in like nothing ever happened, right? Like he just comes in and just gracefully uses all of these absurd archetypes that have become absurd from his carelessness in seasons 8, 7, and the first part of 9, and he just speaks emotionally and truthfully through them once more in ways that are not only deconstructionist but transcendental and definitely totally sincere. And he makes it look so easy the way it wraps up, and you forget that most of the season is about Nathan being kidnapped and ransomed by Russian mobsters, and it's insane. It did not start well. Because the problem with the majority of this season is it is absurd, but sure, it's kind of fun. Dan is an action hero now. Like think Taken. I have a particular set of skills, see Liam Neeson, Mel Gibson, and Charles Bronson types. It's badass, but I can't take any of these characters seriously. In those situations, it was a cartoon. It was ridiculous. It didn't like transcend trash TV. I mean, if he was going originally, if the show was going for trash TV at the beginning of this season, then you accomplished it. But I think what's more incredible is the fact that you turned that around so effortlessly in the episode where Dan Scott dies. And it really illuminates something else from season 4. Dan's defeat in that season was also his salvation. So Lucas is such a complicated postmodern brat turned postmodern hero because in defeating Dan Scott, he also saved his soul. And Lucas is completely uninterested in humanizing him further. But Lucas has to know that he defeated Dan Scott by humanizing him. Lucas exposed the devil's own soul to him, and by humanizing evil, Dan's sins drove him mad. Yet when he's dying in that hospital in 9, his life is meaningful because of his soul and what it has ultimately meant to his grandchildren and his son, Nathan. Lucas is one of the most incredible characters ever that even in his absence, his complexity has continued to unfold, to become more available to us. Chad Michael Murray does appear in this episode in this season, episode 7, I believe, like Last Known Surroundings or something. And he doesn't do a whole hell of a lot, but yeah, I'd give anything for more Lucas time, especially when he's spending that time with Haley. That's one of my favorite dynamics from the show is the best friendship between Hales and Luke. It was lovely seeing him. He really didn't do a whole lot, but I think he was able to properly say goodbye to the fans, and I appreciate that quite a bit, as I'm sure a lot of fans did as well. the thing I think I figured it out. I think I figured out where One Tree Hill was originally intended to go. Like what the showrunners' original intentions were for the second half of the show, before Hillary and Chad left. I think that the first half of One Tree Hill, seasons 1 through 4, transcended youth to find a new clarity. And I think the second half of the show, what was probably originally going to be like 5 to, I don't know, 8 or something, I think that that was originally designed to be the clarity of youth, to be that to be its representation, its reproduction, and its graceful remembrance. And I certainly think that the series finale makes good on that original thesis that I think was clearly abandoned by the showrunner in season 7, following the departures of uh, his two muses, the two people who he thought could best express the theme of grace in One Tree Hill. Hell is empty and all the devils are here, which is Shakespeare at his most wickedly cynical. The season is hyper fixated on hell as a lived concept. I do love when Dan does show up and says that you look like you needed a little help. I hope that's the writer's way of saying, yo, season 8 was rough because Dan was barely in it at all. And we need some help from Dan. Dan makes everything better, even when he is this cartoonish action hero. He's still captivating. Paul Johansson's an incredible actor, and I think he goes unsung, and he's very underrated component of this show. Dan, Lucas, and Peyton. Those are my three favorite characters, with Lucas being the definite best one. I find him inspiring. Also, so this season determines that Clay has been having a psychotic break this whole time. His entire arc was one large manic episode. Okay, why not? I still think that Clay and Quinn are a complete waste of my time. I fucking hate them still. They're so annoying and vapid. I'm thrilled to never have to watch them again. Fuck them. Chase and Chris Keller honestly hold the majority of this season together. They're incredible together, great chemistry. I never thought I'd ever say this, but from the bottom of my heart, thank God for Chris Keller. You heard me right. I've also been informed from friends and exes that I might hate him so much because I apparently act just like him when I'm drunk and coked out, which is why I don't do blow anymore, and also why I am now careful with my liquor. Zach Conan knows his limits now. Your cult boyfriend is a better man. Your cult boyfriend speaks the truth. Your cult boyfriend speaks in the third person. Oh no. Brooke's very own psycho isn't even a metaphor. Brooke Brooke's storyline was the laziest, honestly. At least the Dan, Nathan, and Haley action saga got to be fun and silly and wild and pretty genuinely badass. And Chase and Chris got to be really funny, and Chase got to be really touching and defending Chuck from his abusive father when he returns. But Brooke, sheer laziness. Sheer fucking laziness. Her very own psycho is not metaphorical. Probably the first psycho that's not metaphorical. This means that Psycho Derek, Psycho Carrie, and I forget the other psychos because those are the only two worth remembering. But I remember Xavier. I remember this one. I forget who was the Sarah imposter. I'll just call her Psycho Sarah. That's probably what they call her anyway. She sucked, and she was involved with Clay and Quinn, so of course I don't remember that insignificant role. But Xavier comes back. Hey, if you want to commit a crime, do it in Tree Hill, because no matter the severity of your misdeeds, you will only end up doing 5 years max for any crime. So if you're gonna do something crazy, go to Tree Hill and do it because the law don't give a fuck over there, and you'll be out in half a second. But Xavier, to me, is not an expression of Brooke overcoming fear or past trauma. To me, Xavier is an expression of creative bankruptcy. And so much time has passed since its post 9/11 roots that season nine's theme of justice, in the beginning of the season, it focuses on justice, and then it repositions itself to be dedicated to grace in the show's final episodes. But for most of it, it's about this concept of justice in an unpredictable, gray, and random world. That doesn't read anymore, and the show feels a lot less sincere about it. Why are you whispering? What's going on? Where are you? I'm in a movie. That's what Julian says to Brooke, and it couldn't have been more truthful. It fucking sucked until Dan was in the hospital, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, Brooke does have a full arc here. She finally has full control over her life. The tragedy of autonomy is over, and Brooke Davis has freed herself. It's about fucking time. I cried at the end. I really did. And then the show ends with the U2 song, One Tree Hill. Ah, tonight I'm gonna get drunk and listen to the Joshua Tree. That sounds like fun. The Creek and the Ravens show. So this show decided to be pretty Kevin Williamson-esque. It not only references Dawson's Creek in a way of saying, yeah, we know this has been done before, but this is different. Actually, I don't know if it even posits that it's different. Um, I think it simply recognizes that it has been done. I think that's all it is. It's a recognition of lineage, of postmodern lineages, and it definitely follows in Kevin Williamson's footsteps by bringing to your mind the series finale for Dawson's Creek, which is also hyper focused on a show that Dawson is developing, where within that show he does get to rewrite and recreate, reposition the archetypes that made up his life and the narratives that formed it, right? He gets to live once, twice, thrice, countless amount of times cinematically because our lives are cinematic. That's the way Dawson's Creek views that postmodern dilemma of the spectacle, is to embrace it and make it a lot more sincere, as sincere as possible, while recognizing that nothing could have the visceral, tangible effect of truly feeling your true love's skin, her warmth, that sort of thing. One Tree Hill is also following in those kinds of postmodern footsteps by having Julian develop and make the Ravens TV show based on the book by Lucas Scott, and on kindness of ravens. And Julian is able to insert himself into Lucas's book as a love interest for Brooke. He wasn't in the high school seasons. He first appeared in season 6. And you are wondering if this is also a confession of the showrunner who has inserted himself, maybe in various different versions of himself within One Tree Hill, so that in a way he could make the wishes come true that never actually did, and maybe for the first time believe in those very same wishes in a way he never truly felt before. A belief that now feels earned through maturity, through grace. And all of these characters, the ones who have been around for a while, for years now, they really they can really move you and inspire you to live gracefully, to live truthfully, to live honestly, and to live with determination, with passion, with self-respect, and with gratitude, with fortitude. With all of those things that your teenage self recognized as virtuous. They may have been lost along the way, but through grace, you can find the clarity of youth's representation. And through that physical remembrance, your life could be physical poetry, and it could be full of young wanting and yearning and desperation, those kinds of things that seem reserved for coming of age fables. With grace, the, the truthfulness and the desperation the rebellious qualities of those coming of age tales, those stories, those Shakespearean ones, through grace, those could be lived experiences, and those could be forever with you, haunted by ghosts or surrounded by old friends and visitations of memories and kisses, stale ones. You can feel those again. If you constantly remember clarity's representation and you make that wish and you place it in your heart and you believe in it and you really, really believe in it, and then you don't wait. If there's something you wanted to tell someone, if there's something you want someone to know, if you want to know someone, don't wait. Don't wait for your cinematic moment. And that's the primary difference between Dawson's Creek and One Tree Hill. Our lives aren't cinematic when One Tree Hill is at its most sincere. Our lives are our lives, and you matter. You're important. You're significant. So live significantly. Live meaningfully, with purpose, and with grace. Moments of clarity. Moments of clarity are all around you. That's what some people call magic. When everything just feels inspiring and inspired. It's clarity to some, magic for others. But what you do when that moment has faded, you crystallize it, you project its representation, and you carry that moment with you for luck, with grace. Watching some of this season made me think of a song I really like by Ockerville River, which has been referenced by this show before. Episodes have been titled after albums. I think even this specific album, the stage names, or there definitely was A Hand That Take Hold of the Scene in Our Lives, or Not a Movie, or Maybe, like those were definitely episode names. But in the song called Plus Ones, I just like to recite these I'd like to recite these lyrics to you because it struck me as substantial and relevant. And he says, let's get lost, let them send out alarms. He says, let's get crossed and come to harm. Let's make the world's stupidest stand and truly mean it. Let's hit the limit of loss over lovers' arms. No, let's exceed it.